What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and today we're going to talk about the Fugitive card set and answer the question as to whether or not you should pull for it. And I do think this set does have some usefulness, and I also do like that they've done something different now with the card set than what we had before, because usually we get a lot of the typical same old effects for our cards, but this time they've actually introduced something really, really cool, and that is, we got one card that increases attack, we got another card that actually increases the defense fighter combat power by 35,000, which is awesome, right? So any defensive character you equip this card set to, it'll increase your CP by 35,000. This is something that's really awesome about this card set, is the fact that it applies to all the characters in the game, but defensive characters get this CP power gain, which is really, really awesome for game modes like Chapter of Fight and whatever else may show up in the game, even Tower of Trials. And then this third card actually gives a 30% chance to charge 5 power slots upon landing an active skill. This is on a 45-second cooldown, but guys, this is actually pretty cool and something that could actually be very, very useful in certain game modes like Tower of Trials, because if you can enter your 5 PG, and that's something we need to find out today, right? Because in Tower of Trials and in certain game modes, you can't build up your PG very well. So will this work in that game mode? Well, the answer is, spoiler, yes. It will work. It's actually pretty damn cool that it does. Now, it is on a 45-second cooldown, but the thing to remember, guys, is if you have multiple sets of these things and you're using them in that game mode, then while you're doing your 3 PGs, this countdown, this cooldown is still going to be running as you're doing your 3 PGs. So having if you had 3 sets, it might be really, really useful after what I show you here in a little bit. You also get the increased attack by 17%, along with the 7% from the other card, gives you a 24% increased attack at all times. And you also get a critical rate by 4%. And then whenever you use your Awakened skill, for every power bar gain, you gain 20% attack. So if you have 5 PG bars, which you actually have a chance of proccing, you're going to have a 100% increase to your attack. Right now, the guinea pig that I'm going to be using today is going to be Rugal. I wanted to test Rugal because, for one, I just kind of wanted to take a break from Cronin, have a little fun with one of my favorite characters to see if it really does give him an improvement, right? Is it better to have this card set on him versus, say, the best set in the game for Rugal, like the Idol Kula set, right? And we will be doing more of these tests, guys. I will be doing a test on Cronin later on, but this is the team that I'm going to be running with, right? You guys are really familiar with the teams. We don't need to go over all that. But we're actually going to do a little comparison where we're going to use this set right here versus the Idol Kula set, right? The set that is pretty much the best for Rugal in the game. I know, it's weird, right? A gold border set, not even a fest set, is actually the strongest for the character, but that's because of this effect right here, which increases strike skill damage by 30%, 50% chance to increase attack by 20% for 5 seconds upon landing his strike skill. Rugal has multiple strike skills. He just does really, really well with this set. It's really OP. The increased attack's also really, really great. The set's just proven to be the best for him. And here's the crazy thing. The transcendent stats on these cards are only for Leona. They only apply to defensive characters. So Rugal doesn't benefit from those at all, right? He doesn't benefit at all from that. And something I want to show you guys right now is that, we do have an increased attack by 149,000 right now. And whenever we slap on the Idol Kula set, let's see what we get. All right, I'm going to jump down here, find another one. It's always nice. The last one's easy to find. Let me scroll up here. Now you're looking at 136,000. So, and remember, just like I did in the previous video, where I showed you guys, like on Fest cards, the attack's just going to be higher than what it is on Gold Border cards. So, I mean, he's got 136,000 now with the Idol Kula set. That is what, 13,000 less attack than what he had a second ago with the Max Mode set. I'm calling it the Max Mode set instead of the Fugitive set. I just think it sounds cooler, but that's what we're going to be rolling with, guys, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys a little comparison right now on the screen, where on the left, you guys can see I do have it text up there in the top there, where it says Idol Kula on the left and Max Mode on the right. So you guys can actually see the difference. Now, with the Max Mode set, because we have to use our Awakened skill to get all that extra attack, right? I played it a little bit different. I actually played it for probably about an hour. Maybe I could play a little bit more to try to perfect my run. But I played it for about an hour, trying to figure out the best way that I could use the Maximo set in this particular comparison. And this is what I found did the most damage, right? I just went ahead and built up Rugal's 3PG, then I did his 3PG really quick, and then I just went ahead and switched to Bison, then afterwards switched to Leona, and then I could use the max mode. Once you use the Awakened skill, get all those PG bars gains, and use the max mode as I'm spamming my skills. And yeah, so I mean, we're just going to do this for 1 minute, guys. I'm not going to play the entire run, but I did record the entire run. I will show you guys the ending outcome of this, of what Rugal could do. Now, again, I'm going to be testing this with other characters. Cronin will probably be the next character, to be honest, guys. I'm just curious to see if this set's actually going to do more damage than the Rush Dungeon set for him. I don't really know, but for Rugal, it's a weird thing. And it's because of this long cooldown that's on the car set. You know, the 45-second cooldown to build your PG, and really the Awakened skill, right? The Awakened skill has a cooldown on it as well, and that is something that you have to keep in mind. It has a 1 minute cooldown on it, so the max mode is really awesome, but it's only when you can use your Awakened skill, right? A 1 minute cooldown. So it's one of those things where, yeah, he will do more damage. They will do more damage with this set. But in a run like this and Guild Raid, where it's a elongated run where you're constantly running through your characters and you're switching them back and forth, it's going to be a little bit different story, because as you guys can see, and I'm going to stop this at 1 minute, you'll notice that the Idol Kula set will actually, you know, pull out ahead or stay right with the max mode set. And that is a free set that is in the game. Now, this is for Rugal, right? This is for Rugal. It's the best set for Rugal. It's not the best set for every single character in the game. Tests like these, I mean, there's so many you could do because you have so many different characters that have, you know, different skills, strike skills, blast skills, grab skills, different cards that you can compare them to. So in this particular run that we're doing right now, the max mode, right, has almost 4 billion at a minute 5, right? At a minute 5. And the Idol Kula set has 4.7 billion at 1.02. So they're pretty much neck and neck for the most part, right? They're pretty much almost, I mean, it's a little bit different. You know, we had about 4.8 at 1 minute with the Idol Kula, 4.8, we still got 3 seconds, and we have 4.1 for the Maximo set. So we did, you know, 700,000 more damage with the Idol Kula set in this particular test, guys. This is just only on Rugal. Keep that in mind, right? We could have, you know, a different outcome with different characters, with, you know, comparing the Maximo set to other card sets. But in this particular comparison, I think we might see this more often too, to be honest, because again, you can only use your Awakened skill every minute. And the way the Maximo set works is you only get that big 100% attack or 80% attack, depending on how many PG bars you have, when you use your Awakened skill, right? So I'm going to go ahead and go all the way in, guys. I'm just going to kind of skip to the end here, just show you how much damage we actually did all the way at the end to try to save a little time here. And the max mode set did 9.4 billion with 2 seconds left. 9.4 billion with 2 seconds left. And the Idol Kula set did, let me back up a little bit here, 9.8 billion. So, I mean, there's not a huge difference, right? You know, we did 9.4 billion with the max mode. We did 9.8 billion with the Idol Kula. So we did a little bit more damage with the Idol Kula set, but it wasn't by some huge margin. So I think, like in this situation, like in Guild Raid, I feel like the card sets that might be already optimal for certain characters might still be the best, like say for Rugal here. But again, we need to do further testing. I've only tested this so far on Rugal. Now let me show you guys what happens in Dungeon of Trials. Now in Dungeon of Trials, it's a different world because, you know, you're just going to spam your Awakened skill one time, right? And we're just going to kind of skip through here, all right? So I want you guys to notice, let me back up a little bit here, all right? So, okay, so we got 1 second left on the awakened skill. Notice I'll hit the second skill, the third skill, the first skill, and I'm going to do these skills the exact same amount of times for both the max mode and the Idle And you can see that I got Idle up in the top. So this is the Idle set, one awakened rotation in Spider Robot, right? And I do 12 rotations and then one extra first skill, I believe is what I do here. And we're going to run through here. We'll see how much damage we actually do. And then we're going to let that bleed finish so we get the exact amount of damage. Okay, we're just going to wait, we're going to wait, we're going to wait. Well, let me wait a little bit longer here. There we go. So you guys can see we did 340 million damage with the Idle set. Now, how much are we going to do with the max mode set? So again, right, we do one rotation before we use our awakened skill, then we're going to use our full rotation through our awakened skill, right? The same amount of skills, guys, 12 rounds, and then I think the first skill, one extra time. And we'll go a little bit longer, a little bit longer. So as you guys can see, right, we are done 369 million damage. So 369 million, right? 369 million versus 340 million. The maximum set does more damage in this particular situation because you're just going to use the max mode and you're just run through your awakened rotation that one time, right? So like in this situation, it's going to do more damage, I would say, for a multitude of characters, probably for quite a few characters, judging from this particular situation, right? I think that it probably would do better. Now let me show you something else that's really, really cool. So if we move on a little bit, guys, I'm gonna kind of skip along here a little bit, and we'll move on to this. Now this is Tower of Trials, guys, okay? This is Tower of Trials against Ignis. Now, we're not trying to do a clear or anything like that, but I just want to show you how this PG bar thing works, right? This is pretty cool. Remember, you have a 30% chance to gain 5 bars of PG. This is on a 45% cooldown, but watch this, right? Rugal's got it equipped to him. Watch this. 1 skill, 2 skill. Look at that. Already 5 bars of PG. And what that means is, like, if you have 3 sets of this crap, like say in Tower of Trials, every character will be able to go into their 3PG super, super fast. And when they're in their 3PG, they're not going to take any damage. And think about their 3PGs have heals. I mean, it's actually pretty awesome because if you have this card set equipped to 3 characters, you do this with 1 character, you can do your 3PG, you go to the next character, you'll immediately get your 5 bars built up, you can go to your next 3PG, and so on and so on. And you just keep circling and circling and circling with this card set. Now, currently, right now in the game, this isn't a big deal because Tower Trials is really the only game mode where this would be valuable, I guess. But again, this is a one and done game mode. But we know that in the future, Netmarble is going to be bringing in other game modes like the Return of Demo Space, where you might want something like this. You might want 3 sets of these things in order to do this. Now, I know that's a heavy, heavy investment, right? I mean, there's nothing really to see here, guys. I'm just going to end up dying. But I mean, I know that's a really, really heavy investment, but I can see how this set would actually be really, really good for players. Oh, there's that reset for the players out there. I can see how it would be very valuable for them, especially if we get, certain content in the future where being able to enter into your 3PGs very, very quickly, where they have a reduce of PG gain especially, would be very, very valuable and very, very useful for your characters. But as it stands right now, I just don't really think that the card set is a need at all because one, most of the game modes are easy in the game. You really don't need to have that little bit of extra damage, to be perfectly honest, guys. I mean, all the game modes are so easy. And this is always the thing we always circle back to, right? This is always the thing we circle back to. Like whenever I talk about these things, it's like I want to tell you guys that you should pull for them. But the thing is, like so far in this game, there's really no need for them. I can show you, however, like say on a defensive character, what kind of CP you would actually have if you equip those cards on them, right? So my Leona is at A7, right? She's fully jacked up, right? And so you guys will be able to see how much CP she's actually going to have on her. This would be another reason maybe pull for the card set to like push further in chapter of fight. So let me go ahead and slap this card on her because this is going to add a lot of CP. And then we'll slap on another card to add quite a bit more CP. Let's see. We'll put one of these on her, right? And right now we're at 193,000 CP, and I have two stones that are just single attack. They're not double attack stones. So we would be easily over that 200,000 marker. You need 201,000, go all the way to top of chapter of fight. So it is very, very possible to get like someone like Leona CP leveled up enough to where you can actually use her in chapter of fight and maybe other defensive characters as well, right? Characters like Cronin, if you have him at A5, or other defensive characters like Bison. It's actually, I mean, it's pretty sweet that the card set offers some versatility as far as gaining CP for your defensive characters. I mean, if it gained that CP for all the characters, whether they were defense, balance, or attack, it would be even better. But what my suspicions are is that in the future, they're going to give us these kinds of card sets where it'll increase the CP of an attack fighter. It'll increase the CP of a balance type fighter, and maybe it'll still be that max mode setup that we have for this card set where it increases the attack based on the amount of PG bars that you have. So that is something else that we can look out for in the future. But as it stands right now, guys, other than trying to gain CP, if you don't have the successor set for your characters, right? I mean, if you don't have that successor set, then it might be a good set if you have a defensive character that you're definitely going to be able to get to A7 or that you're potentially going to get to A7. So that way you can try to gain enough CP in order to push Chapter 5 so you can gain more rubies, right? This is one of those things that is going to give you a return on investment over time, right? But if you have the successor set, right? This set adds a nutty amount of CP to any EX fighter. See, that's something else about this set. It only works on EX fighters, right? It wouldn't work on Leona because she isn't a native EX fighter. This set actually will work on any defensive character in the game. So, in a way, it's actually better, at least for your defensive characters, because it works on any of them other than the successor set that only works on your EX characters. So there's definitely some value in the set. I really think it's going to depend on who you are out there and the situation that you're in the game. I do think it's a good set to pull if you got a defensive character that you plan on leveling up, maxing out, and trying to gain some more CP in order to perform better in other game modes. And also, guys, will probably get future game modes where they're going to have a CP requirement. So this set actually would help in those situations as well. But as far as damage, right? Yeah, it's going to be a better set. Definitely in certain situations in the game, but is it really a need? Do you really need to have it? No, I don't really think so. Again, because all the game modes in the game are relatively easy, even for newer players. Unless you're really trying to push the envelope in Spider Robot, especially. I mean, it's going to help in Spider Robot, but I mean, you got 5 characters in there. I mean, you're going to pull for 5 of those sets? I don't think so. That would be godly expensive. And then for a game mode like Tower of Trials, I mean, really for a set like that, I mean, it still could be a really good set just having one set. But right now, I just don't think it's needed. However, in the future, guys, I mean, they could be bringing some other game modes like the Return of Demo Space, like I said earlier, to where this card set could be very valuable. You know, building up that PG, being able to go into your 3PG super, super fast, especially in game modes that slow down your PG rate, could be very, very valuable. So it really is going to depend on you as far as, you know, what you think about this card set as to whether or not is it really worth pulling for. But I will be doing further tests on other characters with the card set to give you guys some more feedback on the set before this banner ends. So guys, let me know what you think about the Maximo set. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. GD+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See everybody.